The presidency of Woodrow Wilson. Overview. Woodrow Wilson was the 28th President of the United States. He has served 2 terms in office, from 1913 to 1921. Wilson was a productive Democrat who believed in power of the federal government, exposure to corruption, regulate the economy, and weaken the emphasis of business of the improving general conditions of society. During Wilson's first year in office, the U.S. Federation government was succeeded by the Kong-Yung-King, experienced a major rival. Wilson's second term in office was dominated from the First World War. Through Wilson's campaign on the slogan, "He kept us on the war," escalating the German aggression ultimately made it impossible for the United States to stay out of this conflict. Woodrow Wilson's rise to power. Woodrow Wilson was born in Stafford, Virginia in 1856. He was a very religious family and one founder of the Southern Pedophile of the churches, of the Wilson religious, of the bringing up of the shape politician views, of the outlook on the world. He grew in Georgia and South Carolina. He was the first Southerner to be president since James Polk in 1840. Wilson ran for the Democratic ticket in the 1912 president election and campaigned. Wilson's campaign of a new freedom and new platform that he promised for banking and pledged respect and individual freedoms from private industries. He has won by a landslide. Woodrow Wilson's first term in office. Once in office, Woodrow persuaded this agenda, lowering tariff, creating the Federal Reserve System, championing authorized and legging, improving protections for the workers, establishing the Federal Trade Commissioner to crack down on those businesses' practices. These policies reflected on Wilson's faith and path of the progress of a movement who cited harmless of the power of the Federation government, religious to the economy, exposing corruption and society by the negative effects on the industry. On the civil rights front, Wilson administration has pursued with some religious policies, but working with the South Democrats and restoring a federal government of the African American advantage in civil rights. He also unbanned in his campaign. He also promised he would unban beer from the legal system, which all historians agree that this is why he won by a landslide against Nixon. Woodrow Wilson's second term and First World War. Wilson won opposingly in the Democratic parties for the 1916 president election on the Young Platform phase of process goals to better for female workers and eliminate child labor and the establishment of minimum wage. The campaign was conducted as the most war in European and the Mexican Revolution, and Wilson ran for a slogan, "He kept us out of this war." This might prove ironic indeed. By his second term in office, the United States entered for World War I. Wilson's trumpet over his terms, and Wilson's second term in office was dominated by the First World War win. Wilson embraced the policy of neutrality in the Europe conflicts, believing that war is a result of corruption nature by the European powers. Of the remains of the landslide, in May 1915, the Germans sunk a British ocean liner, Lusitania, which had many Americans on board. the early 1917, the Germans adopted a policy of unrestricted submarine warfare, a decision that almost immediately followed by a relevant of the Zeeman telegram, which pled German support for Mexico recovering territory of New Mexico, Texas, Arizona from the United States. The United States declared war on Germany in April 1917. In January 1918, Wilson issued his famous 14 points, which laid out the long term of the United States of the involvement in the post-war era, of the enjoyment and the mutual cooperation that they had belonging to the League of Nations, that will hopefully peacefully resolve international disputes due to illegal principle. The United States never joined the League of Nations. Wilson died in 1924, and his dream for a post-war world war was unrealized.